Alright, I think I'm ready to get a center line around these cores. I went ahead and vacuumed it. Put the vacuum on it, cleaned off the fuzz. So earlier video, maybe in this one, I showed how to shim this glass flat. So what I like to do is, before I actually start cutting anything, I line it up like this, put this on this glass that's shimmed flat, and I want to see no gap. So not that you could correct it later, but then that way it's already fixed. So I've established the top and bottom of this core, so I'm just going to put TR top right, TL top left. I guess inboard, outboard, doesn't matter. Whatever you decide to do, just make sure it's uniform. So now I'm going to just come in here and get a measurement to split this core in half. I want a center line. So this is a 3-inch block of foam. So I'm going to put a mark at 1.5 inches. And that divides it. And then I'm going to come up here with this marker. And I'm going to establish a center line completely around this core. So this is a little height gauge on my marker. You loosen these screws, you can take the marker in and out, or sometimes if you push hard enough you can actually push it out of there without releasing these screws. So I'll come up here, so make sure this is in the video. I've got my little 1.5 inch dot here, so I'm going to come up here and set my marker on that dot. If it's a 1/16 one way or another, it doesn't matter. I mean, you've already marked the top left, top right, so you've got to remember when you put the center line around these cores, the top of the core is facing up on each one. So we've got a good flat plate of glass. Make sure your gauge is clean and make sure your glass is clean. I vacuumed all the sides of this core off. Got all the dust and so okay, put this on the glass, move it around, make sure it's where it needs to be. So what I like to do, when I cut a core, I don't use the shucks, I don't use the cradles or whatever. It's going to be a different concept I'll show you later. If you're going to build this wing as a lost foam wing, you want to make sure that this is flat, and you want to make sure that the left panel and the bottom panel, the cradle, matches up. So you got to take extra time on this to make sure it doesn't rock. This one's good, I mean, if you wanted to use it for that, but you just got to make sure that the block is true. Now, one of the things I don't like to do is weight anything down. Now I could weight it down, it's okay because this is flat, and the people that weight stuff down, they always make sure they have a good heavy flat surface. So the way I do it, I don't weight it down, I just lay it on the glass and I drag this marker down there, and this establishes the center line. So if you're wondering if the center line you just marked is straight, I guess one of the ways to do it, basically what you're transferring is this plate glass. So if you lay your straight edge on this glass and you can't get a feeler gauge underneath it and it's flat, and I've gone through this whole thing and got it to where it's good, so that tells me that when you run this line down that foam core, the glass is flat and it's transferring the flat glass to that line. So that's why I spent some time shimming the glass flat. So now I'll go through here and mark the rest of these lines. And I try to establish this center line around the core and maintain it throughout the build. So when I sheet this, top right, top left, when I sheet this core, I transfer this line to the sheeting in the wood on the outside. I'm pretty meticulous about maintaining the center line. And as the build gets to the point where you're actually lining up everything, setting the incidence, you'll see where it's super critical that you have all those lines, because we're going to plug in some gauges, and we're actually going to set all the incidents and the alignment of this airplane off this plate glass also. So double check, make sure everything looks right. Got this other core down here, I might as well do that one while I got it. Make sure you maintain the clean bench. So this will be, let's mark this one now, TL, top left. And we'll mark this one top right. Double check to make sure those come together good, and they do. And then finish the center line on this one. So as you can see, it's, once you get this glass flat, it's not hard to get that center line. So it's just, it's almost effortless when you mark that. It's just, you just line that up and you're good to go. So